this statement is in order to address the accident which occurred on the 9th here in Oklahoma City in the death of Mrs. Ingrid Williams. First of all, on behalf of the Oklahoma City Police Department, we want to send out our most sincere condolences to the family. A very tragic situation, very tragic for the family, and our hearts and prayers go out to Coach Williams and his family. At a little bit after 8 p.m. on the 9th, Miss Williams was traveling northbound on Southwestern at about the 1700 block. She had 3 kids in her Suburban, and by all estimations so far, she was traveling the speed limit going northbound. There were 2 vehicles traveling southbound in her direction. One was being driven by a lady who was not injured in the accident by the name of Mai Gwynn. She was in front of a vehicle that was traveling in excess of the supposed speed limit. The individual in this vehicle that was exceeding speed was Mrs. Susanna Donaldson, 12/6 of 63. The information that we have right now, prior to the actual police report being completed, the accident report will not be completed for another week and a half. Obviously, we have to gather all the evidence, download the information from the vehicles involved, and then come up with a computer recreation of the accident itself. The preliminary information indicates that Mrs. Donaldson was traveling in excess of the supposed speed limit. For whatever reason, she went left of center and clipped the rear left portion of Mrs. Gwynn's vehicle. Again, Mrs. Gwynn was not hurt or injured in the accident. This caused her to go left of center and hit Mrs. Williams, who was again traveling with her children going northbound at a high rate of speed. At the scene, Mrs. Donaldson was pronounced deceased. Mrs. Williams and her children were transported to an area hospital. The last information I have is that one of the children has been released. The other 2 are banged up but expected to be okay. Sadly enough, Mrs. Williams passed away yesterday evening. We have been in contact with the Oklahoma City Thunder during this time. We wanted to be as discreet and as professional as we could in order to release the information at the appropriate time. The information was released yesterday evening, and once again, our condolences go out to the family.
Did the driver have a dog in her lap?
There was also a dog in the vehicle, in Mrs. Donaldson's vehicle. Both Mrs. Donaldson and her dog died as a result of the impact. We don't know exactly where the dog is. The preliminary information tells us that the dog may have been in her lap. We don't know if that was a contributing factor, but I can tell you that speed was a critical factor in the accident and the results of the accident. According to our investigators, that if Mrs. Donaldson would have been traveling the posted speed limit, it is very highly likely that Mrs. Williams would have survived the accident.
So when you say high rate of speed, you mean over the speed limit?
That's correct. And once again, we have some preliminary speeds. We don't want to release those yet, simply because they have to be verified, and they're not on our official document yet. It should take about a week to release that. But the preliminary indication, the evidence out there at the scene, the damage caused to both vehicles gives us every indication that she was traveling at well over the posted speed limit.